Hello, and welcome to the Fast Forward Amy show, the show where we talk about how you can lift your life and business with simple strategies. I'm Fast Forward Amy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode every Tuesday. Today is the most famous topic that will be coming up in the upcoming weeks until everyone gives up, namely goal setting. It's a typical end of year, let's reflect on the past year topic. And today I want to start by revisiting the past year for you, your goals, and everything that's been happening, and kind of create a new path for us to look into the next year and really keep our focus and crush our goals. Before we start, remember that this is episode 58. So that means through fastforwardamy.com/58, you can find a recap of everything that I'm saying. And to kind of follow up with this episode, I've created a focus guide for you. Because what we'll be doing today is really diving deep into what you've done, what could have gone better, how we can optimize your process, how we can look at what our 80/20 is, what moves the needle. But when we want to continue with that goal setting, it's really important that you can keep your focus the upcoming year. So I've created a focus guide for you, which you can find in the link in the description, or go straight, falling over my words, okay, or go straight to fastforwardamy.com/focus guide. Okay, let's get started. I have two things I think I disagree on with my brothers. So I have three brothers, if you didn't know. Two older ones, one younger one. And we are all very strong-headed, ambitious individuals. I guess we got that from our parents. And I know my brother Matthew dislikes motivational quotes. And I think he's also like, New Year's resolutions are stupid. And like, I think some of my brothers are like, it's stupid. Some of them are like, it's great. Anyways, I disagree with him. I love New Year's resolutions. I love goal setting. I love motivational quotes. I think you figured that out by now in the podcast. So why is setting goals so important overall? I personally love it, but I'm also a very goal-oriented person. So some people are very focused on the process, on the how, on getting tasks done. And some people are focused on the outcome, the results by instinct. And I'm one of those people. I will always set goals for myself easily. That also creates too much pressure sometimes, but that's a different topic. You can hear more about that in a few episodes back. I think that's episode 55, if I'm correct, where we talk about procrastination and perfectionism. But the reason I love goals is because I look at goal setting as being a self-fulfilling prophecy. I look at goal setting as a way to attract the things you want, to send it out into the universe, what you want to reach, and to actually get it back. And I'm not saying when you're like, I want 100 euros, that then 100 euros will just magically pop up. But I'm saying that when I launch, I'll usually have goals. And I'll usually have a worst goal, an okay goal, a really good goal. Be like, this is when I do break even, this is when I'm happy, and this is when we've done really, really good and we need to celebrate with 10 bottles of champagne. And I'll have different layers of my goals, which I've learned over the years, by the way, so as not to disappoint myself. Which brings me to the reason a lot of people are afraid of goal setting is because they've disappointed themselves in the past, and now they're afraid to set new goals, and they're afraid to set numeric goals. So often we say we want more sales, we want more followers, we want more time to ourselves, but we don't really put a number on it. So being more specific in your goals could be that one of the exercises... So being more specific in your goals could be that one of the exercises we do in the Business Freedom Elevator, for example, is we define our dream week. And this is an exercise I've been doing myself for years and years. And I will always, whenever I feel like it's time to revisit my time management, I'll look at my calendar, I'll put it away, and I'll draw out a week in just like papers, whatever, notebook, because I have about 300 notebooks. And I'll just draw a week, Monday to Friday. And I'll be like, okay, what do I want my week to look like? Not how will I get there with my clients? How will I rearrange things? No how questions, only what do I want? Turns out I want time to myself. I want at least 2 days a week where I can focus on creating. And maybe I only want 1 day a week where I have meetings. So I'll define the what. And when I've done that in the past, I know when I was a fitness coach, I went from having clients and seeing clients 6 days a week to being like, you know what, I'd really love to only see clients 3 days a week because I'll be far less overwhelmed and be able to provide a better service. I drew it out, and I know that 6 months after I'd like made that drawing, I had reached my goals and I had reduced everything, not really lost any income, but kind of managed everything better, increased some prices. I had figured out the how to create my what, being the 3 days a week I was working with clients in person. When we go back to goal setting, I firmly believe that when you set a goal of reaching, for example, 30 clients for something and you focus on that really hard, like I'll be like, I want 30 happy clients. I want 30 happy clients. And if I keep naming that goal, I'll probably hit it. You know what? Maybe I'll hit 28, but I still have hit more than if I would have just said like, yeah, I'd like some clients. It just works better when you set specific goals. It works better when you envision your goals. And I believe that when you are struggling with launching, with selling, with your business, with your life, sometimes it might help you to be a bit more specific with your goals. There are different ways to set goals. You have like the SMART way to set goals, which is literally like SMART. You can look that up. One of the best tips I can give you is to set a goal that's close to your core of it, what you really want, and to make it as specific as possible. Don't say, I want more sales, but really point out how many sales, what value, how many people. And by the way, in terms of sales and money, I will sometimes set a monetary goal, but it will always be a byproduct of my actual goal. My actual goal, most of the time, being I want X amount of happy clients, or I want my team to be happy, stuff like that. And I know that money is inevitably a byproduct of what I'm doing if I do it smartly, but money in itself isn't the goal. The goal is to be of service to people and to really turn that into reality. So it's important to be really aligned with what you're wishing for. And again, that's also something I talk about in episode 55 if you're interested, to act from your core and not from your ego. Okay, so when you set goals, it will be easier to reach your goals. That's the thing. If you haven't set a goal, obviously you won't be reaching it. It's just kind of like when I'll tell you, hey, go to that address in Rome, you're like, oh no, I'll tell you, go to that house in Rome, and you're like, well, but where is it? If you don't have an address, you can't find your way there. And that's kind of the same with your goals. If you don't have a goal, how are you going to find your path to your goal? Make your what very make your what very specific, so that then you can let go of the what and start focusing on your process when you really divide everything up into bite-sized pieces. Okay. Now, it's the end of the year. I think we can all say it's been one hell of a year. It's been a very weird year. We are almost celebrating 1 year of the Fast Forward Amy show. But today is not about me. It's about you. It's about you, your life, your goals. And I want to know, what were your goals this past year? This is a little bit of a do episode. So you might be listening to me on the road. You might be cooking, cleaning. You might be trying to figure out what you're going to wear the upcoming days. But if you look at the past year, what did you set out to do in 2020? What were your goals? That's my first question. And then my next question is, if we revisit that goal, let's pick one. What went well? And when I mean what went well is not how well did you reach your goal, but of what you set out to do to reach that goal, what did you do well? What do you think went well in your actions? So when I do this exercise with my Business Freedom Elevator students, we'll go through, okay, what was your goal? And they'll be like, this was my goal, and I hit it almost, or like this, or I didn't hit it at all. That was the first part, right? And then we look at, okay, what did you do well? So for me, I could look at the past year as being like, I had a goal to hit 100,000 downloads with the Fast Forward Amy show. We hit that. And then I could say, what did I do well? We were very consistent in publishing the episodes. In my opinion, what I could have done better is batched more, and I could have gone over to video sooner, and some of those things. And that means that I would have had to be better at creating time blocks to actually do those things. What I also saw is that there was a dip in email list subscribers from the episode that wasn't as high as in the beginning because I spent a little bit less time on those and I made my downloads maybe not like I would have wanted to make them. They weren't bad whatsoever, but I could have done that better, focused more on that. Am I upset I didn't do that? No, I hit my goal. I'm very happy. But what I know is what could have gone better are those things is I could have made some more time for it. I could have prioritized it a bit more. But overall, I'm really happy I did it. So, what were your goals? What were the results? What did you do well? And then, what could you have done better? So, for me, if I'm being honest, my year was partly a shit show, partly amazing. I made more money than I've ever had, than I've ever made. I bought an amazing house. I have a lot of amazing new people in my life, but at the same time, I was confronted with myself in many ways I didn't think were gonna happen. There was a global pandemic. That was not ideal. And there's a lot of things that I wished were better. But I see with like business wise, it went well, right? But when I look at my fitness and my health, that went a little bit less well, if I can say it like that, because there was so much stress and so much stuff happening. So what could have gone better there is I could have prioritized myself more. I could have made more time for myself. I could have said no more. Those are a few things I could have done better there. And what I want to do with this exercise is for you, you might say, like, privately it went well, my relationship went to total shit, business wise, that went well, that didn't go well. I want to help you cultivate an analytical mindset so that you can really look at how can I do this again? How can I optimize this to the future? I'm not saying let go of your goals. Well, I mean, if you're like, hey, I did it, now I'm over it, that's fine. But I want you to look at not just like, well, that didn't work, everything went to shit. I want you to look at what can we change? How can we analyze what you want to do differently? Because that's where the true magic lies. Again, I talk about this in episode 55 as well, but we want to work in an iterative way. So for me, for the podcast, for example, I could have growth hacked it more. I didn't do that. And I could have growth hacked it in a number of ways. Could have run ads, could have paid people. I could have invested more time in press to get on other people's podcasts. There's a bunch of stuff I could have done. So I can put that on my list of steps I'm going to do next year if I want to, which doesn't mean I'm not satisfied with what I have right now. So for you, which project did you have? Which goal did you have? And define for yourself what you did and what you could have done better. I'm not saying what could have gone better, like I could have gotten more downloads. That's not what I'm saying. Literally your own actions. For a lot of people, that will be then like, well, I could have, instead of only thinking about my marketing, actually done more about my marketing. Instead of only posting once a week on Instagram, I could have made time to batch posts and then post it on my Instagram. I could have maybe outsourced some of my tasks. I don't know. I could have asked for more help. I could have let go of perfectionism. This is not a, hey, you suck list. This is a, hello, this is what I did well. Hello, this is what could have gone better. And the next step is we're going to revisit our main goal for the next year. We're going to choose one together. You're going to choose one goal. What's the first thing that pops up for you? If I ask you, what's your number one priority for this year? What's your number one goal? And maybe what pops up for you is, I just want to be happy. Amazing goal. It's, by the way, the phrase, I just want to be happy, I think we all know it's not that easy, and mental health is not always so easy. And for me, I think definitely for the next year, my goal is to be happy and healthy. I think happiness is really difficult when you don't have your health. I think I definitely ran past myself multiple times in the past year, and I am definitely always trying to get better at that. And sometimes that's a battle with my ambition and with my commitments. So my goal for the next year is, which is weird because last year actually my goals and my words for the year were freedom. Wait, I actually have it on my iPad here. I bought an iPad. I had it engraved on my iPad. And my iPad says freedom, create, and play on the back of the iPad. Because I wanted to create more, I wanted to play more, and I wanted more freedom. I definitely created more because here we are in the Fast Forward Amy show, but play, I even forgot that was one of my goals. So it's definitely one of the goals for me for the next year to, first and foremost, I think to be healthy, to really feel good in my own skin again, because I didn't feel like that for a while this year. And then I can outline the steps that I'm going to take to do that. And apparently the steps from last year didn't really work. So I'm going to revisit them and make a new plan. So what I want for you is that you choose one of your goals either from last year, revisit your actual goal. What does it mean for you? How can you make it more specific? Or choose a new goal. And then we're going to look at those steps and that strategy. And this is really funny because I didn't know where I was going with this. I didn't know what I was going to pick as a goal. I'm just trying to do this exercise with you. I might change this. This is also not being live broadcasted to you, you know? But what you can do if you struggle with defining the steps to reach your goals is to actually grab a piece of paper and make a list. And on the left side, you can write your biggest wins from the past year. And on the right side, you can write a bunch of stuff that you did. Okay, so your biggest wins on the left side. On the right side, you're going to write everything that you did. Maybe to reach those or just the things that took up most of your time. And then you're going to connect the things that you did to your biggest wins. Like circle your wins and connect the tasks or the things you did to those biggest wins. So for me, that could be like what went well overall wins or what went well in terms of my goal, like health-wise, to everything I did. And I could be like, oh, those things were definitely something I did really well. For example, for me, going for walks in the morning, huge win. That was definitely one of the things that really benefited me health-wise, to connect with nature, take time for myself, and to disconnect. I also had a digital detox. That was really good. So I could also connect that to those were some of my health wins, for example. So for you, it might be a business project, or it might be to get more clients. I don't know. Make it specific first and foremost. How many more clients? What kind of sales? What, first the what, then the how. And make that piece of paper. This is what my wins. These were all of my things I did. So the wins are like the results, the biggest results. For me, that could be like, for example, being published in a newspaper, hitting the 100,000 downloads. And I would definitely know that, for example, hitting 100,000 downloads on a Fast Forward Amy show, the task that did that was to make it perfectly imperfect and just show up every damn week, right? And not obsess about the details, because every episode got downloads. Not like one episode tanked. It's just every episode did good. Some did better, some did worse. But it was all the episodes combined that got me there. It was a consistency. Learning from that also means if consistency works so well to reach great results, I can use that to look at my other goals and look at, hey, if that went well business-wise, what can I learn from that for my private life, for example? Consistency is always a good thing. So make that piece of paper your wins and connect the things that were the biggest movers to help you get those results, and like make a list. And I'm sure that when you're probably not making that list right now, but when you're going through this visually for yourself, that you will see immediately what some of the things were that actually moved the needle. And that's where I want to take you to. I know a lot of my clients struggle with being able to identify what moves the needle, being able to identify what is that 20% of the things you do that gives you that 80% of the output you get, of the results you get. For me, I can definitely say my podcast, just doing my podcast, creating my podcast this year, got me a lot of business results. I can say that the walks got me a lot of result in terms of how I felt and how I connected with my body. So what are those things for you that actually move the needle? That's my question. So what I want you to do is look at your goal setting, revisit your past goals, what you did, what could have gone better, and use that to revisit a new goal or an adjusted goal, and really line out all of the steps you're going to take to do that. Too many people leave it into one huge pile of to-dos and forget to look at what are the actual steps that will really get me closer to that goal and let go of some of the surrounding noise that isn't really going to move the needle. Okay. So, what I want to do is look at how we can continue from here. And how we're going to continue from here is obviously, I want to wish you a happy new year and all of that. But instead of really wrapping it up here, I want to ask you to really work on that focus, whatever it might be, whatever your happiness might entail. And to do that, I created a focus guide for you with 4 steps that will help you to create that focus, to help you create that clarity for yourself to reach your goals. So go to fastforwardamy.com/focus guide, and that will help you for the next steps. For the time being, I hope that you will step away a little bit from the chaos and from being on the inside and thinking, this doesn't work or this does work. And really look at, okay, you know what? I'm going to make it simpler. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it anew and realize that it's not a straight linear process. You're always going to go through certain cycles. Again, it is iterative development. I revisit what I do every week, every few months. I love goal setting exactly for this reason. So this is what I did in this episode. I now went back to the beginning. Dare to set your goals. Even if you've disappointed yourself in the past, forgive yourself for not hitting your goals. You just didn't have the right tools yet. So let's try again. Let's look at what we want to accomplish. Let's not get all down on ourselves, and let's trust ourselves that we will always do our best to achieve what lights our heart on fire or sets our soul on fire. I don't know. My coach and friend Sarah always asks me, what makes your heart leap? And I think if you don't know where to start with your goals, that's a great question that we can finish with today. And that I can ask you, what makes your heart leap? And how can we make more of that? That's what we want to start doing. So if you want to create more of what makes your heart leap, go and grab that guide. It's linked in the link in the description. And if you want to read the jumble of the mumble stuff I just said, go to fastforwardamy.com/58. I wish you a really happy new year. I hope to see you back in the new year. I want to thank you for listening to the Fast Forward Amy show, for reviewing, for sharing, and I hope in the new year I can bring you many more amazing episodes, guests, topics, and that we can reach our full potential together and lift your life and business. Have a happy day, have a happy week, and see you next year.